We have talked extensively several times on the show about the privacy that we all enjoy, that our phones have an encryption on them that's built into the phone, especially if you have like an iPhone, like what I have, for example. If I lock it down, that somebody that comes along just can't unlock it and get all my personal information because, like most Americans, I have access to my bank and other sites and private chats with people. And the thing here is that the Justice Department has been trying to force companies to put in a back door into their phones. And Apple has resisted this along with several other companies, for example, and they're correct. Apple is correct. They said because if they put a back door in there, then anybody can get in there. Because the government doesn't seem to understand, or they do understand way too well, that the fact is that if there's a back door there, somebody else is going to get in there. This is actual result of the terrorist attack that happened out in California last year, or was it earlier this year, wherever?
I think it was December of 2015.
Yeah, it was December.
Yeah.
Yeah, late
Yeah,
December.
but the San Bernardino shootings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because of this, they wanted Apple to open and unlock an iPhone for them so they could get in there and get the information that this terrorist might have had. They eventually dropped the lawsuit against Apple because a third party was able to get into the phone using a zero-day exploit. Now, if you're unfamiliar with what a zero-day exploit is, it's a vulnerability, is a previously undisclosed computer software vulnerability that hackers can exploit to the adversity affect programs in computers or computer programs, data, additional computers, or on a network. And it's called zero day because once the flaw becomes known, the software's author has 0 days in which to plan an advisory any mitigation against its exploitation. For example, I discover a hole. Let's say I discover a hole in Facebook, and instead of telling Facebook about this problem, I just say, "Okay, here, everybody has access to it. Now everybody can log in and take all of Facebook's money as fast as they can before they patch the hole." Which would be great, but I don't have those kind of skills. And I think that would be a felony, actually. But
And you don't have 5 years for Club Fed.
yeah, and I don't have 5 years for Club Fed, yes. And I'd lose all my stuff. Coming to you from Club Fed, Packard Polk. I don't think they'll let me. I don't think it would let me. I don't think they'll let me broadcast from federal prison. Anyway, they were able to get into this phone, and it turns out the phone that the terrorists had was an iPhone 5C. They said that the the zero-day exploit that they used was only good on that particular phone, and I'm still a little skeptical of the fact is that because they say it's just for this particular phone, because it's the same operating system. And maybe they're telling the truth, maybe they're not. I don't know. But personally, I'm still glad that my phone is encrypted. And to fuck the government to say you can't tell businesses what to do on this. Now, going back to the original part on this, they want the Senate bill that they're going to introduce. I kind of went on sidetrack so I could get a better idea what's going on here. The Senate bill wants them to make sure that all phones that are made from here on out, or at least if this bill gets passed, that the encryption that's on the phone is hackable forever from that point forward, which should scare the shit out of you. Because if companies are told that, hey, you can put an encryption on here, but it can't be completely unbreakable, we have to be able to break it. So in that case, why bother encrypting anything at all at that point? And then why we should just all go back to the old dumb phones or burner phones or whatever. Then we're back at square one. Kind of your thoughts.
Well, I don't know. This is it's over my head in a lot of ways, but I do understand that encryption is really, really important. And well, it was only just a couple of years ago that this is maybe different, but it was still data. It was the credit card. It was the Target and Home Depot and all those companies. There was this hack, and people were able to get into that system. I just don't see why letting the government have this is makes us any safer at all. I don't trust that they could keep it all of that safe. The fact that they went to an outside hacking source to hack the phone tells me that, I don't know. The government isn't safe with all of our secrets, all of that stuff. And I hated the wording in this article because they tried to say no individual or company is above the law.
Right.
Except the government.
Yeah, except for the government, yeah. That was another thing I was going to point out, is that it's because Dawkins Dogs in the chat room there said, what about WhatsApp encrypting everything? It doesn't matter. They want to have a backdoor into every company, not just the phones. They want it to be illegal for software companies. If you write an app that's encrypted, then you have to provide a way that the encryption is not strong enough so the government cannot get into it.
It doesn't make any sense to me. Because all of this is about looking for terrorists, and I'm sick to death of having to worry about terrorists and having that be why we're stripping down and we're going through metal detectors on planes and or stuff like this. That's really scary because this is privacy. And I don't know. I did see an article that an op-ed piece on TechCrunch that said that actually there was a back door. But that's one of the main reasons. There was a weakness in the Apple design. That's why Apple didn't want to tell them about it.
Right.
Because acknowledgement of that is again now people know. So somebody's going to try and hack it.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. And all for a couple of people who had some stupid fucking idea that their religion was telling them that they were needing to do something, or their personal pride was injured and they needed to kill a bunch of people, and now everybody else has to pay the price for that.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Dawkins Dog, this comment, it kind of fits it really well. It's a shame that the fundamentalist Christians don't run the FBI. Those folk object to anything by the back door.
The next one is
yeah, and Dawkins Dog, and the second one, thank you again for your comments, says the U.S. government doesn't run the planet as much as it thinks it does. It can't tell others what they can and can't use on their phones. And yeah, for other countries they can't, but they can always make agreements with the countries that are there, so they can kind of put that influence there.
Well, what do we expect when we have senators and representatives who don't even have a basic understanding of what the Constitution is, what the Bill of Rights are, or anything else? They don't even understand how civics works in our own country. So how do we expect them to be delegating all of this stuff fairly and correctly? We're expecting too much of them.
Yeah, we are expecting way too much.
Need to vote up, not down.
Exactly. Get these people out of office. Are these people electable? The ones that want to put this bill into place? I mean, is this a Senate thing?
I was surprised. Dianne Feinstein, who's a Democrat, but from California, is one of the co-signers of this bill. But I do know that in not this year's election cycle, but in the next one and maybe the next one after that, I don't know, is it like 2/3 of our Congress, of the Congress, are up for re-election?
Yeah, there's a lot of them up for re-election.
We have a chance to clean house, folks.
Yes. Usually I say vote Democrat, but if this woman is a Democrat and she is voting to say, hey, let's get rid of privacy rights, she needs to go. She needs to go.
I don't know anything about her. She's not from my state. I just know that.
Nor mine either. Yeah. But I don't care who it is Republican or Democrat. If they want to get rid of privacy, then they should be the first ones to be investigated. But you know what? They're going to say, hey, you can't investigate us. I remember, was it last year, the year before that, or sometime, that they found out that the NSA was actually investigating them, and they didn't like it too much. So you know what? Hey, if it's good enough for us poor folk, it's good enough for you.
People shouldn't be afraid of the governments. Governments should be afraid of their people.
Right.